Hello out there to all of my listeners, and thank you for tuning in to Is Your Way in Your Way podcast. And I'm your host. My name is Cassandra Crawley Mayo. And for those new listeners out there, let me share with you what this podcast is all about. It's those individuals who, what I call stuck. You know that there's something, it's like a fire in your belly, like it's something you know you should be doing and you want to do, but yet you just can't move. You feel like paralyzed. Like for example, you may want to write a book. You want to probably forgive somebody, get out of a toxic relationship, but you just can't do it. Maybe change churches, but you can't do it because that's something because you've been to that church for a long time and you just can't move. Or change jobs, get a promotion, all of those things. But it's like something is like holding you back. And that's why this is called Is Your Way in Your Way podcast. And that's actually the title of my book, Is Your Way in Your Way podcast. Is Your Way in Your Way. The name of the book is a self-discovery guide for women on how to restore yourself, learn from your experiences, and be your true self again. And we're going to talk about a topic today called Unlock Infinite Potential. We talk about topics related to your personal development. It even allows you to do some self-reflection. And who better else to talk about this is my special guest. Hi, Lucy Ptasznik. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm glad you're on. And before we delve into some questions, I just want to share a little bit about your story so that my listeners can have some form of content with the context that we get ready to have. She has an amazing story, I tell you. And you're talking about resilient. You're going to hear about that. But let me get moving. Lucy's a national speaker, coach, and entrepreneur who quit corporate America to pursue her passion, and her passion is horses. She created a seven-figure business buying, training, and selling horses nationwide. Today, she teaches people special tools and techniques to rewire their subconscious minds to take massive action toward their goals. She challenges you to step aside of your comfort zone and become the best version of yourself mentally, physically, financially, and spiritually. Wow, I can't wait to hear about this story. And someone who loves horses, that is amazing. I remember going to a resort and we had they had horses there, and they told us to come, and that was like what do you call it? What do you call that, Lucy?
Equestrian?
Yeah. And so we went over there and they said the horses can feel you. They can feel whether they like you, if they like you, if they don't, go hug the horse and all of that. So that was fascinating for me because the horse that I was hugging really liked me and that made me feel real good. So before we get into the horse bit for a minute, Lucy, what was your life like before you started working for corporate America?
Yeah. It I grew up in suburbia and I had two middle class parents, blue collar. My mom had two factory jobs, and my dad was working full time. And I like to say I was a little girl with a big dream.
Okay.
I was obsessed with horses from the time that I can remember. And just like Napoleon Hill says, that if you have a burning desire, the
Mhm.
starting point to all success is just that, a burning desire. And if you can focus all of your attention, energy on that desire,
Uh-huh.
you can move mountains. And
Mhm.
so every single day I would beg my dad, Dad, please buy me a horse. Please buy me a horse. But he would
Mhm.
remind me like, oh, I'm sorry, sweetheart. Our family doesn't have the means to purchase or
Yeah.
maintain a horse. So that's when I took matters into my own hands. The day I turned 16, I got my driver's license and I put an ad on Craigslist saying, I'll ride your horse for free.
Uh-huh.
Um, I had these yahoos calling me from all over with their unbroke, green broke horses that hadn't been touched or handled in 10 years. And I
Wow.
was just the happiest thing to
Mhm.
drive all over God's country riding these horses. And like, I thought I knew what I was doing. I didn't have any idea what I was doing. But the horses quickly taught me because I never had any sort of professional instruction or riding education. So
Mm-hmm.
next thing you know, I'm getting bucked off, flipped over, eating the dirt right and left. But it was just like one of those failing forward moments, kind of like when you pursue the passion and when you take that leap of faith, you're going to encounter some difficulties. There's going to be some road bumps. There's going to be some obstacles, but the goal is you just have to stay laser focused on your goal and
Mm-hmm.
not let anything get in your way, not let anything stop you. So it doesn't matter how many times you fall off the horse or life throws
Yeah.
you a curveball.
Yeah.
You just got to get back up, dust yourself off, and try again, ride that horse. So
Wow. Mm-hmm.
that's why I like to say that, part of all success comes with failure. The most brilliant business minds and successful entrepreneurs aren't going to tell you that, oh yeah, they just got lucky. No, they tried and they failed and they tried and they failed and they just never gave up. And they probably failed more times than most people are even willing to start. So
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of what kickstarted the journey. And
Okay.
then I was selling horses all throughout high school, all throughout college. I
Wow.
graduated college. I got scooped up into the corporate world. And then the next thing you know, I was getting suited up with high heels, and I did a corporate gig for the next 3 years. And
3.
yes, and the first
Okay.
year and a half, I had an amazing boss, and he was absolutely wonderful.
Uh-huh.
Then they switched me and they gave me like the world's worst boss.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I was like, wow, this is the end of the world as I know it. How am I going to handle this? This is like absolutely, he's miserable. He's negative. Like
Mm.
I'm positive and he's not. Like he can't even stand to be around me, much less me around him.
Oh,
So
wow.
I thought it was, I didn't understand that it was a huge blessing at the time. And that
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times we find ourselves in these difficult situations or in these really difficult circumstances that God will place on our path. And we're left asking ourselves, like, God, why me? Why is this happening? This isn't fair. Life isn't fair. Why'd you do this? And we just have to have faith, unshakable faith, and understand that God's got our back and
Yeah.
that he's got this big, bright, brilliant plan that's
Mm-hmm.
so big, we might not be able to see it from our perspective of where we are at this particular time. But now looking back in retrospect, like, thank you, God, for giving me the worst boss in the whole entire world, because that is what inspired me to quit my corporate job and follow my dream to sell horses. Um,
Wow.
so it's like, even when you don't think it's a blessing, just say thank you for everything.
Exactly. So it's interesting how people don't, when we say leave jobs, it's like leave people, so it's not necessarily the job you're doing, it's just perhaps the individuals that you work with or work for. Now, what is it about you that enabled you to take that leap of faith? Now, that's tough, when people are getting their paycheck and, consistently, and yet you knew from a little girl that you were just into these horses. And so you made a decision that I want to do what my passion is. So how did you what is it about you that gave you the courage to leave and do your passion?
I would say that I just want to say that I'm not special, and there's nothing special necessarily particular about me, and that I encourage anybody that if you feel like you're struggling in life, if you feel like you're settling for something that just isn't fulfilling, isn't satisfying, like I just
Mhm.
want to remind and encourage people like that there is a better way, that
Mhm.
you are meant for more, and that you absolutely are worthy of having that better life, that better job, that improved relationship, that improved
Mhm.
health. So,
Mhm.
and I think it all starts with self-discovery, just like your book is all about. Is
Mhm.
that I've been, what I can say is that from a very young age, I have been very much invested um, in self-development
Mhm.
and really understanding how the mind works. And
Okay.
because of that, and meditation has played a huge role in all of that, because the definition of meditation means to become aware or become familiar with oneself.
Okay.
And we all have unconscious programs and patterns that run our lives. And when we're living unconsciously and just going through the motions,
Yeah.
it's really easy for us to get stuck in our patterns, to believe all of these limiting beliefs, and ultimately at the end of the day, just feel stuck.
Right.
So that's why it's so important, like the power of awareness and becoming aware of that little voice in your head, becoming aware of those thoughts that you're thinking, of those limiting beliefs that we carry with us our entire lives. And it's like, we don't, like, life doesn't have to be difficult. Money doesn't have to be hard to come by. Like life doesn't have to be unfair. Like, those are just general statements that people will hear and latch onto and then claim as their own. And it's like, there is a better way. So I think that just self-discovery, self-development, and the power of awareness, because we can't change what we're unaware of, is really the start to stepping into our greatness.
Right. Now, Lucy, you sound like you didn't have any limiting beliefs about the passion that you had, that you were just going to leave this job and do your passion. Wait, did you have any limiting beliefs, or?
I had all of them. I had all
You
of
had
them.
all?
I mean, it was definitely, hang on, I'm going to close this door super quick.
Okay.
My pup walked in the door and she nodded the door open with her nose.
I thought that was a puppy. I could see that. And this actually reminded me of, during the pandemic, there was a gentleman on the phone on national news doing a Zoom. His daughter, you saw that? His daughter bust the door down. Then I guess the housekeeper came in. It was hilarious. So that's what that reminded me of.
No, so to answer your question, I would definitely say that walking away from my comfy, cozy corporate job that had full benefits, a salary, like a generous salary, the security of a weekly paycheck. I mean, it was hands down one of the scariest things that I've ever done. And my parents, they're old school. Yeah. Their belief is you work in a job for 30 years, you stay there, you put your time in, you get your pension.
That's right.
And that's the way life is. My dad was, funny story is, I love my dad so much. I'm very blessed in the parent department. Going through all of this.
Yes.
Me and my mom are like, we're two peas in a pod. So she was always there, helping me video the horses, getting pictures, like sale videos, sale pictures. We'd hook up the truck and trailer and we'd travel around like the state of Michigan on like a Saturday morning. It would be like, okay, how many horses can we pick up and fit in the trailer? And so she was kind of with me, seeing all of it firsthand and experiencing it with me. So I remember it was a December and I had sold 6 horses going into the colder months. And I remember talking to my mom and I'm like, Mom, I made more money selling horses than I did at my corporate job. And it's cold outside because horses are seasonal in Michigan. I'm like, I can do this. I know I can do this. And I remember her saying like, honey, I love you. And as your mom, I can't tell you to quit your corporate job to go sell horses. That would be irresponsible of me. And then she goes, but honey, as your mom, I also can't not tell you to follow your dream. So don't tell your dad I said that.
Yeah, right.
Don't tell your dad I said that. And whatever you do, I'll support. But my dad was like vehemently against me quitting my corporate. He was saying like, honey, people have worked their entire lives to have what you have, and you're just going to throw it all away. And it was just there was a tremendous amount of fear. And of course I was up against the limiting beliefs of like, oh my God, what if I fail? Yeah. What if I can't do this? What if I can't pay my bills? Like I had just bought a house. I had just bought the truck and trailer. Yeah. Like I could lose everything. Just fear of the unknown, fear of failure. Like it was all there.
Okay.
However, I had been doing it for so many years. And then on top of it, I was in a long-term relationship. And so my mom's like, well, why don't you have a baby while you have full benefits in your corporate job because you have health care?
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mom, if I have a baby right now, I'm never going to leave corporate. I'm
Right.
like, I have to it was just when you have that desire that's just like pulling at your heartstrings and you just know that you're meant for more and that you can't continue to stay where you're at, then it's just like you just lean into unshakable faith, into God, and you're just like, God, I trust you, and I'm gonna go for it.
Okay.
And that's really what it came down to. And I can very I don't know, I can say now that there has not been one day that I have regretted leaving my corporate job to pursue my passion and sell horses.
That's amazing that people had horses, but they want to sell them because they didn't want horses anymore. Is that correct?
Oh, I just preparing for this podcast. I didn't even get to read the text message, but somebody sent me a long paragraph about they have a couple good trail horses and they're looking to find them another good home. So,
okay. Because I think I read that you made 6 figures with this successful 6 and 7 figure business with the horses.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because when you look back starting out, I remember I used to sell horses for $700-800. I remember when a $1,200 horse was expensive. Wow. I remember my first $1,700 horse. I remember my first $2,500 horse. And now, it's like you move and you grow and you improve and you expand. And I mean, Dr. Wayne Dyer says that we're not human beings having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. And the soul is meant to grow and expand and evolve. And so now instead of selling, $1,500 horses, I might be selling much higher ticketed horses, whether it's 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, whatever.
Wow.
And then and then kind of like a side note is that in the business, in like the horse sales business, one of my favorite things to do is trail riding. Like it's one of my all-time favorite things to do.
Now, what's trailer riding? What do you mean?
Trail riding is when you trailer out the horses to go inside of a state park or a metro park, and you spend the day just riding through the trails in nature. And I wanted to share that with the world. I want to share it with my friends, with the family, with the world. And it's kind of crazy, but I accidentally started one of Michigan's largest public trail riding companies just because I wanted to share the gift and the beauty of trail riding with everybody. And it spread like wildfire.
Wow.
So everything, like I said, like, it's kind of just like when you follow that intuition, like you're in that intuitive voice, like that's God speaking. And that's why sometimes we have so many distractions in life that we have to turn down the volume of all of the distractions.
That's so true. And how it's interesting when you started it, it's like the floodgates just open, like you accidentally, as you indicated, up to the Michigan's largest public trail riding company. That was an accident. Now imagine, so there's something said to that, what I call the gift. You're anointed to do that. We all have anointing, and to me, it's a gift. Now, I want to know though. Now you're on a mission, right? Inspire and awaken people to their own greatness. So, how did you transcend from a horse to people?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. So, from a young age, like I've always been, like when I was working in corporate, I was like queen of the Excel spreadsheets, and it would be like thousands of cells long. And while I'm working on these Excel spreadsheets, I had my headphones in and I was listening to Dr. Wayne Dyer
Yeah.
for hours and hours, and I would take notes. And so now I have like notebooks full of his wisdom.
Wow.
And he really shaped my belief system growing up. And then through Dr. Wayne Dyer, I ended up stumbling upon the work of Esther Hicks and Abraham Hicks. And so when I was 21, I attended my first Abraham Hicks workshop, which is what propelled me to begin meditating, which if there's one thing that I would recommend everybody start doing immediately, gift yourself with 10 or 15 minutes every single morning and start meditating. I guarantee you it will change and up level every single area of your life in magical and beautiful ways.
Well, let me ask you this then. When you say meditate, what does your meditation look like? Do you just sit there and close your eyes and breathe? Or are you meditating? Are you intentionally meditating on certain things?
There's a whole what I like to tell people, it's not like meditation is like one size fits all. I like to kind of give people the visual of, it's like a smorgasbord. It's like a buffet. There's all sorts of different kinds of meditations, different types of meditations.
Okay.
And so I have like an arsenal in my phone of different meditations that I've saved over the years. And so, and whatever you're in the mood for, and sometimes I have meditations that I like to save and send to certain people when I know like someone's going through something difficult. Right. So you can have I think the best ones to start off with are the guided meditations.
Okay.
Because a lot of people, usually what I hear the most is that people say like, oh, well, I can't turn my mind off because it's too busy and it's constantly running and I can't quiet my mind. And I'm like, that's perfect. That means you're doing it right. Because the whole point of meditation isn't that like you're alive, you're not dead, like your mind's not going to stop. But the whole point is really to become aware of your thoughts. So like when you close your eyes and you focus on your breath, eventually a thought's going to enter your mind. And then it's in the recognition of that thought where you just lovingly release it and then come back to your breath. And then 5-10 seconds later, another thought's going to come in. And instead of falling down that thought pattern of like, oh, I got to go pick the kids up. Oh, then I got to go grocery shopping. Oh, what am I making for dinner tonight? Oh, shoot, I still got to call and schedule that appointment. You're like, oh, wait, stop. I'm thinking again. And then lovingly release that and then come back to your breath. So it's in the awareness of the thought that meditation, that the practice of meditation starts to work its magic, because the application is when you're out living life, like just driving through traffic and someone cuts you off, instead of having that unconscious reaction where you flip them off and start cussing at them, you're like, oh, wait. I don't have to react with animosity and fear. I can react with grace and love and compassion. And so when you start doing that, like once you start changing the way you start responding to outside circumstances, that's when your whole world starts shifting. So to answer your question, there's guided meditations, there's mantra meditations, there's silent meditations, there's meditations where you can just put like a meditative music on in the background, breath work, visualization, all sorts of different kinds. So I really just encourage people to just try different things. And if the other cool thing that I'll just throw in here is that every Friday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, I do a live gratitude meditation on our Facebook group, Transformation Nation. So if anyone's curious, they want to start, they're not sure where or how, I'm like, how can I serve? How can I give back? And that's one of the things I like to offer everybody.
So on Fridays at what time?
10:30 Eastern.
At 10:30 Eastern time. And how would they tap into that?
If on Facebook, it's Coach Lucy Lynn, and then I tag the it's called the group. It's called Transformation Nation. And so it's a free group. Anybody can add. Every single day I'm posting just like how to intentionally create the life of your dreams and really taking your power back through the power of awareness, the power of intention. Like today we're recording and it's October 1st. So I wrote out my October intentions because I'm a huge proponent of like using your imagination instead of thinking of like what could go wrong?
Yeah. What can go right?
Right. And like, how exciting is that?
I
And
know.
so you start writing this stuff down. It's like you're literally putting your order in with the universe. So I have a whole YouTube video on how to set your intentions and like all of the magic that will just flow into your life by,
Right.
taking 15 minutes to do that.
Wow. Sounds like Dwayne Dyer, huh?
Yeah.
I used to watch him. I really enjoyed him. He was very, very good. And it's interesting how you listen to him at such a young age. I think you tapped in at the right time because it's already embedded in your DNA and it stuck with you. So I kudos for that. Why do you think so many people feel stuck and defeated or depressed?
A lot of things, but the main thing is that if people feel stuck, it's
Mm-hmm.
usually because they're stuck in a story. And I know that sounds like too easy or too simple,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of times, like when you look at your memory, when we're recalling an account that happened to us, did
Yeah.
you know our memory is only like 50% accurate? So when we're recalling an event where we thought somebody mistreated us or was unfair to us in some way, like there's a 50% chance you're holding onto this memory and the memory that never even actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
My mom, I remember I was out with my mom and she was, I don't remember exactly what happened, but she was telling, like, we were all together with the family and then the family had said something to her. And then when we left, my mom was like, I can't believe that your sister said this and they responded like that. And I'm like, Mom, they didn't mean it. Like you took that all the wrong. They weren't even talking about that. Like you
Yeah.
misconstrued all that in your mind. It's just like, how many times are we all guilty of that? And it's like we're holding on to this memory of the past where we felt that we were wronged, and
Yeah.
it was like that never happened. And so it's like a lot of times we'll create these stories
Mhm.
of how we've been victimized.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that nobody's ever been mistreated or wronged,
Sure.
but what I am saying is that life has no meaning and we as human beings have the power to assign the meaning of our choosing. So
Mhm.
we can shift our perspective at any moment in time
Mhm.
and change the meaning that we once assigned to something and shift our perspective and see it in a different light. And when we start to do that and we write a new story for ourselves, we will miraculously become unstuck because
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
stuck version of you is bound by limiting beliefs,
Yes.
um, and really just victimization where it's like
Wow.
poor me, I can't because of this person, because of that person, because of these outside circumstances. And it's just like let all of that go
Mhm.
and create a new persona, create a new belief system. Your
Mhm.
external reality is the perfect projection of your internal beliefs. So if you
Right.
can shift your beliefs, because at the end of the day, a belief is nothing more than a thought that you keep thinking. If you can
Exactly.
shift those beliefs, you're going
Right.
to start shifting things that you're experiencing in your external reality. So if people are stuck, they really need to analyze the thoughts that they're thinking every day
Okay.
and the beliefs that they hold and the stories that they tell themselves that they've told about
Mhm.
their past, about their present, and about their future, and
Mhm.
really analyze like there's so much power in language and like
Yes.
the energy of the words that we're using every single day, and
Mhm.
so many people are using words and language that don't serve them. So again, it's just bringing it back to that awareness piece.
Right. So, what other ways can individuals unlock their infinite potential?
Um, I think that so we have a 3-step program,
Uh-huh.
and the first step is understanding that we live in a vibrational universe, that thoughts become things, and understanding how to manage your state. Because
Mhm.
when you're able to manage your state, you're able to start really like manipulating reality, if you will, by just like controlling like how when you're in a when you're in a high vibrational state of love and joy and excitement and
Uh-huh.
gratitude and peace, you're going to be making radically different decisions than if you're frustrated or overwhelmed or angry.
Mhm.
So the most successful people are capable not only of changing their own state and managing their own state, but also managing the state of others who they're around. So the first pillar is energy and managing your state.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is desire,
Mm-hmm.
because it's so many people, when you ask them, what do you want in life? They'll list off every single thing that they don't want. And it's like, well, you can't keep focusing on what you don't want and expect what you want to show up.
Right.
So I help people with putting together a vision and crafting the vision that they want to create. And that again folds back into like the imagination and intention setting. And then the third pillar is belief, because you can have total clarity on exactly what it is that you want to create and experience in life. However, if you don't believe that you're capable, that you're worthy, that you're enough, that you deserve those things, there's always going to be a vibrational discrepancy between where you're at and where you want to be. So that's why I like to help people like really just bridge the gap with belief. And that is all about the reprogramming the subconscious mind. And we have all sorts of different strategies and tools to help people do that.
So, but you also said there's a difference between wants and desires.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
actually, yeah.
Okay. So what's the difference now? It's like, well, I want to write a book. That's what I want to do. Now, how does the desire play into that? What's the difference?
So I actually just made a post about this the other day. Wanting is easy. Anybody can want anything. Wanting is very like surface level. Like, yeah, like I want this and I want that. And it'd be nice to go do this and go here. And I want all of these things. So wants reside in the conscious mind. So when you take like a map of the mind, it's like 5% conscious and then 95% subconscious.
Okay.
What you want to do in order to create lasting change in your life is to move that want into a desire. The desire lives in your subconscious mind. Desires are deeply rooted, and you know that you've successfully moved a want from the conscious mind into a desire into the subconscious once your behavior is altered, once you're changing your habits. Because people can say, oh, I want to get healthy, I want to get healthy, I want to get healthy. But it's like, if you're sleeping in, waking up, eating bonbons, you don't go to the gym, you say you want to be healthy, but it's not a burning desire. So until your actions line up with your desire, it's just a want.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. So for my listeners who are stuck and they perhaps want to write a book, want to start a business, want to leave their jobs, want to be promoted, want to retire early, what would you share with them for all these people that are stuck and they want to do things, but yet they're like, another one is, I know I need to get out of this toxic relationship, but I just can't seem to get out. Now that's I want. So how could they change? All these listeners who are stuck, what would you tell them?
I think the first thing is building your desire. Become obsessed with your desire.
Okay.
Put all of your energy, focus, attention on that thing that it is that you want to create. Then the other thing is listing out all of the limiting beliefs that you have. Like, ask yourself, why can't you? What's stopping you? Look, what is stopping you? Is it lack of time? Is it what sort of fears are surrounding it? And then once you start to write out everything that's stopping you, you'll start to see that, like, that's illogical. That's illogical.
Right.
That's a story. That's not really true.
Right.
And then you can start and then you write why this is not true, or why you can overcome this, or how to overcome this. Or if you don't know the answer, well, you can find somebody with the answer, or you can take a course to educate yourself. Or you'll start to become, once you start looking for the solutions, you'll find them. What
Yes.
you seek, you shall find. But a lot of times it's really like uncovering the details, the
Mhm.
subconscious programming that we don't realize resides within us and that has been stopping us this whole time. It's like, well, what's stopping you?
Right.
What's what's keeping you in that unfulfilling relationship? Well, finances. Well, if finances are the issue, like what can you do to increase your finances? And
Right.
then and there's all sorts of different things. If you really want to write that book, then what's been stopping you? Is it time? Well, then let's get really intentional with your time
Right.
and wake up an hour early and every single 3, 4, 5 days
Mhm.
a week
Mhm.
block out time to write that. And so then you'll start to see, like I said, once if you really want something, you'll begin to take the inspired action
Mhm.
that will bring about those results. And
Right.
the other thing I would just add in are just like when you write out your intentions, like your monthly intentions, I can't emphasize strongly enough like the power that resides in the pen. And when you're journaling out, like, so for example, I just wrote out my October intentions and I wrote, today is Thursday, October 31st. It's
Mhm.
Halloween and I feel, and whatever you want to, and I feel so full of gratitude because I've accomplished this, this, and this. I feel so at peace. I feel secure and confident. I'm radiating confidence and I love my body. Whatever it is that you want to write. And then if you want to just focus on one topic, just
Yeah.
focus on one topic. But if you want to focus on every area of your life and you want to cover relationships, health, finances, spirituality, and then lifestyle, cover all 5 areas and start like digging deep. Use your imagination. Like it should be a super fun process. And you read that every single day, or at least every other day. And so
Mhm.
when you're doing that, you are triggering the RAS, your reticular activating system,
Okay.
and so then you're drawing those and again, where your energy goes, where your focus goes, your
Sure.
energy flows. So when
That's
you're
right.
reading this over and over again, you're literally drawing those things to you. When you say um I am abundant, I am prosperous, I'm wealthy, you are literally drawing abundance to you.
Right.
When you say I'm broke, you're literally you're not doing yourself a disservice, or you're
Exactly.
doing yourself a huge disservice.
Right.
So that would be the other thing that I would highly recommend is for people to start with their monthly intentions and write out everything that they'd like to accomplish in the past tense as if they've already accomplished
Yeah.
it.
That's why you do it at the end of the month, right?
Yeah, you do it at the beginning of the month as if
Um,
it was the end of the month.
okay. So today is October 1st. So my listeners should write that when? On their calendar on the 31st, or should they write it today?
So I would write it today and
Okay.
I would start it off by saying today is Thursday, October 31st, and
Okay.
I feel so grateful, excited, blessed,
Okay.
whatever it is, because, and then you go through and you list everything that you've created, everything that you've accomplished, all the positive experiences that have manifested. So, but you write it all in past tense as if it's already
Right.
happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's what I was trying to understand. You said like on October 31st, like I was productive. I was got out of my comfort zone. You know,
Yeah.
I feel great. I'm grateful for this and that. And then keep saying that, and then it'll change the narrative in your head. Is that the subconscious?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That is part of the subconscious reprogramming.
Hey, that's good. That's good, Lucy. One other thing I wanted to ask you. That was a great lesson for my listeners and for me too. I can do the same thing. You had a free. It was a 16-week program and how to reprogram. It's worth $1,000, but yet they can download. You condense the program and they can get it free. Tell them about that.
Yeah. So just like I was talking to you guys earlier about the 3 pillars of our course, it's a 16-week program on how to very intentionally rewire your subconscious mind to start taking massive action towards your goals. And we've condensed it into it's like a 2-hour, 6-part series that's broken up in digestible pieces.
Okay.
And normally it retails on the website for $1,000, but we have the promo code for you and your listeners. The promo code is your way, YOURWAY, your way. And if you type in that promo code, you can access and download the training at no cost at all. And you can start implementing these strategies and techniques so that way you can get unstuck and you can start living the life of your dreams.
So the promo code, is it all caps or lowercase?
Either way is fine.
Either way is fine. Okay. Wow, that's great. So no excuses, my listeners, because your subconscious mind transform your identity, and it's going to create massive success by doing that. So how would they get that program? How would they tune in or be able to get that program?
If you go to ultimatesuccessblueprint.com,
okay.
I forgot to mention that. If you go to ultimatesuccessblueprint.com, then you can go ahead, click on the training, and then enter the promo code, and it will be emailed to your email.
Oh, great. Well, thank you so much for that free tool, because I see that as a tool. And when you talked about for the individuals that are stuck on certain things, one of the things that when you say a self-discovery journey, you have to work. I mean, you can't just think about this. Those limiting beliefs didn't just come last night. They came over time. So it's not going to take you one night to get over it. So in order to change your narrative, you just have to work towards it. And some of us have coaches, mentors. I mean, it's nothing you can do by yourself. And that's not what our expectations are, for one to do it by themselves. And as I always say, my mission is for individuals to start living their best life on their terms. Once you find out what your best life looks like, then you have to take action and move forward with it. So Lucy is also a tool, and I love that freebie that she gave, and everybody likes freebies. And even the intentional, which you put on your calendar. So she gave us a lot of tips that you can do. And this podcast is going to go live. And if in fact there's something said that you believe will resonate with somebody you know, please forward it. Also, this will be on all major podcast platforms. And I'd like to thank Lucy. Lucy, any closing remarks? You've given us a lot.
Just to remember that you are the powerful, magnificent creator of your own reality. And if your mind can conceive an idea and believe it, it can absolutely achieve it.
Oh, that's good. That's good, Lucy. Thank you so much. Lucy, thanks so much for being my guest. And my listeners, I will say, please subscribe to this channel so you can hear some more great ways how you can get out of your way and get unstuck. Thank you so much. Bye for now, and God bless.